All right, Danya, so we're on to the homework. Nobody showed up for my Zoom. How sad is that? Yeah, anyways. So we're going to evaluate these. So let's first evaluate the arc tangent of 1. Oh, by the way, before I get into it, I'm pretty sure Mrs. Ardito made a typo right here. Sine inverse of t, what does that mean? So we're going to not do number 10. Okay. All right, so number 1, the arc tangent of 1. So basically, where on the circle is tangent a positive 1? So we have to remember some things. First of all, that tangent is on the right side of the graph, okay? And tangent would be positive in the first quadrant because the y value would be negative in the fourth quadrant, so it couldn't be this quadrant. It's got to be the first. And the only way to get a positive 1 is to have something in the numerator that's divided by the same thing in the denominator. And the only angle that has an x and y value that is the same is pi over 4, because that would be square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. So the answer is pi over 4. Okay. Can someone let the dog in, please? Cosecant, inverse of 1. Okay, so cosecant, remember, on our, and you should be using your notes as you're going through these. Cosecant shares the same restrictions as sine inverse, so it's also going to be on the right side of the graph. So that means we're not going to have anything in the second or third quadrant. And the cosecant would be 1. Well, basically, what's the reciprocal of 1? Well, the reciprocal of 1 is 1. Okay. So we're really looking for sine inverse of 1. So where's the sine of 1? Well, sine is a 1, and a positive 1. Right here. At that point up there, 0, 1. And that angle right there is on the unit circle, pi over 2. Okay. Cosecant of the square root of 2. Okay. So this is still on the unit circle. So remember, we're looking at the right side of the graph again. Okay. And remember, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So that means the sine would be the reciprocal of this, which is 1 over square root of 2, which we would have to rationalize. And we would get square root of 2 over 2. Okay, well, sine is a positive square root of 2 over 2 in the first quadrant, because that's where x is square root of 2 over 2, y is square root of 2 over 2. So again, this angle is pi over 4. Okay. Tangent inverse of 23.1. 23.1 is not on our unit circle. And I need to be in radians also, so this is off the circle. Okay, and I think I changed it to degrees last I checked. Yeah, so I need to make sure that we're in radians. And so second tangent of 23.1 is 1.5275. Now, I didn't tell you how to round these, so if you rounded it to 1.5, no big deal. Okay. Number 4, arc secant of 9.7. So remember, arc secant is the same as secant inverse, and we don't have a secant button on our calculator, but secant and cosine are reciprocals of each other. So I can make this cosine inverse, but I also have to inverse the 9.7, so 1 over 9.7. And I have to type that into my calculator. So second cosine of 1 divided by 9.7 is 1.4675. So approximately 1.4675. Okay. Number 6, the cotangent inverse of 7.36. Well, remember, we don't have a cotangent button, so we have to use tangent because that's the reciprocal of cotangent. So tangent inverse, and we have to inverse the 7.36, so put 1 over 7.36. and we'll type that into our calculator. So second tangent of 1 divided by 7.36 is 0.1350. Number 7, the cosecant inverse of 15. Well, we don't have a cosecant button on our calculator, but cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so we could change this to sine inverse, but we have to inverse the 15, so 1 over 15, and type that in our calculator and see what we get. So second sine of 1 over 15 is 0.0667. Okay. Number 8, we have the arc tangent of the tangent of pi. So remember, we have to start from the inside out, so start with tangent of pi and tangent of pi. So tangent on the unit circle is on the right side of the graph, so the left is x'd out. And tangent of pi would be, pi is right here. And pi, that is the coordinate where x is -1, y is 0. So yeah, I know that's x'd out, but that's for the arctangent part. For this part, tangent of pi, well, tangent is sine over cosine, so that'd be 0 divided by -1, which is 0. So that means arctangent, which is tangent inverse of 0, okay? And 0 radians is right here, and that's on the side of the graph that I'm allowed to use for arctangent, and that's at the point 1, 0. And tangent is sine over cosine, and 0 divided by 1, again, is 0. Okay. Number 9, tangent of the cosine inverse of 3/4. Okay, so we need to start with the cosine inverse of 3/4, which means I have to look at my unit circle, but 3/4 is not on the unit circle, so I have to use a reference triangle. Okay. There's theta. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so the adjacent side is 3, and the hypotenuse is 4. I picked the first quadrant because cosine inverse can only be in the top half. Right? Cosine's in the top. Make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, top half. And since it's positive, it's got to be in that first quadrant. Okay, we need to find that vertical side, so I have to use Pythagorean theorem. So 3 squared, we'll call that vertical side b, so b squared equals 4 squared. Okay, so that's 9 plus b squared equals 16. 16 minus 9 is 7. So b is going to equal the square root of 7. Okay, all right, so we had to use this information to figure out what this is giving us, and now we can take the tangent of that theta. So tangent of theta is going to be, tangent is opposite over adjacent, so that would be square root of 7 over 3. There we go. Okay, and that's the last one. So hopefully you attempted each of these problems before you watched me do them, and make sure you attach or you upload your work, and if you can title your PDFs, I know you can in that notes app. Continue to do that. That really helps me out. And yeah, that's it. Have a good one, Danya. Talk to you later. Bye.